Hello, developers. Every few weeks, something ships that quietly changes how you should be writing Swift, and most developers won't notice until they're already behind on it. This is the July breakdown, what's real right now, and how you can put it to use starting today. By the end of this video, you'll know how to debug a hung Swift task tree directly from the LLDB console, replace repetitive 5-platform availability checks with a single declaration, and scope a warning as error exception to one function without changing your project's build settings. Stay until the end, because I'll show all three working inside a real Xcode project. If you're the kind of developer who wants to keep learning instead of coasting on what you already know, this is for you. If that's useful, subscribe. This channel tracks what actually changes in your Xcode window, not press release recaps. Comment which of these is new to you. Let's go. Let's start with the feature that could completely change how you debug Swift concurrency. LLDB can finally show you the entire task tree. This sample app starts 3 child tasks inside a task group. 2 complete normally. The third calls a legacy callback, style a pie wrapped with a checked continuation. But that continuation is never resumed, so one task waits forever, and the entire task group can never finish. When I start the demo, the profile and telemetry tasks both complete as expected, but the remote configuration task never returns. The app has not crashed, it is still running. One child task is suspended indefinitely, and because the parent task group must wait for every child to finish, the entire operation remains blocked. This is difficult to diagnose with traditional thread debugging. Swift tasks are not tied permanently to one thread, so inspecting thread stacks does not clearly show which task created another task, or which child is preventing its parent from finishing. That is why concurrency hangs often turn into guesswork and temporary print statements. Instead, set a breakpoint somewhere after the async work begins, and pause the app while it is still waiting. Then open the console and run language Swift task tree. After that, the console prints the active Swift concurrency hierarchy as a real parent-child tree, making it easier to identify which task is suspended and which parent operation is waiting for it to finish. In this output, we can immediately see the child task that is still suspended. Its stack frames lead directly back to fetch remote config and the continuation that was never resumed. Instead of asking which thread is stuck, we can see which Swift task is waiting, who created it, and why its parent cannot finish. This is important because it shortens the path from the app hangs to the exact async operation causing it. It helps you find broken continuations, unfinished task group children, blocked actor work, and cancellation problems without flooding the project with logs. The key advantage is simple. You can now debug Swift concurrency using the same parent-child structure your code actually created. 2. Swift 6.4 features that delete. Boilerplate you've been living with. 2 things landed in Swift 6.4 that don't change how you think about architecture, but they do change how much you type every single day. First, availability checks. On the left, this is how we normally write the check. We repeat macOS, iOS, watchOS, tvOS, and visionOS in the function declaration, and then repeat the same list again when we call it. The code works, but the intent is buried under duplicated platform names. And this is the real problem. The same availability rule appears twice. In a cross-platform project, that repetition spreads across multiple files, making the code longer, easier to mistype, and easier to forget when a new platform is added. One line, same meaning. It also drops straight into conditional compilation, hash if at available, anyAppleOS, replaces that 5-way vertical bar chain you've copy-pasted into every cross-platform file you own. On the right, Swift 6.4 replaces the full platform list with anyAppleOS. The declaration becomes one line, and the runtime availability check becomes one line as well. It still means the API is available across Apple operating systems starting with version 26, but the code is much easier to read. This is not a major architectural change, but it removes friction from code you write repeatedly. anyAppleOS gives you less boilerplate, clearer intent, and fewer opportunities to leave out a platform. Same behavior, much cleaner Swift. Second feature, this one's for anyone who's ever fought with Werror on a whole module because of one exceptional function. First, this legacy function is marked as deprecated. When we call it, Swift displays a warning telling us to use the newer API instead. But deprecation alone does not stop compilation. The application can still build and run. If we wanted to completely prevent developers from calling this function, we would use unavailable instead of deprecated. Swift 6.4's at diagnose lets us control how a particular compiler diagnostic behaves inside a specific declaration. Here, the deprecated API diagnostic is explicitly treated as a warning inside one migration function. In another function, the same diagnostic is promoted to an error. This is especially useful when a project treats warnings as errors globally, but one temporary migration bridge still needs to compile. The exception remains local, while the rest of the module keeps its stricter rules. So, that's the July breakdown. LLDB can now print your whole task tree with one command, anyAppleOS kills your 5-platform availability boilerplate, and at Diagnose gives you scoped warning control without touching build settings. If you're building a real iOS app right now and want senior-level guidance to architect it properly, instead of just making it compile, visit tony-trejo.com and let's talk. Subscribe if this was useful, drop a thumbs up, and tell me in the comments, are you adopting anyAppleOS this week? I read every comment on this one. See you in the next one.